Hello everybody. At a little prayer spot. My spot. This guy fishing right where I usually go, and I was a little upset. It's alright. I wanted to, I debated how much or how I can speak. He's right on my prayer spot too, right over there. How much we can say that would be proper or right. Why I'm very discombobulated today. But I think I need to talk. You know, a few years ago when I went up to New Jersey for 3 months, thinking good, but it was tough to be there for 3 months. There was a lot of problems we had in our family, and something I mentioned a little bit about drug addiction as well, like a lot of families deal with. And when I came back to Texas, during that time, a lot of things were stolen from me. And it was because when you have people that are using drugs, things get stolen. And I'm not really resentful, I don't believe, about some of those things. Two of the things were, I used to go back to New Jersey every year. And over the years, not every year, but every so many years. And as a kid, you see things, oh, Dad, I remember this and that. So, I'd take things back with me. And one day, my dad gave me 2 shotguns that his grandfather, I believe, passed down to his father. His father I never met. He was an alcoholic who used to abuse my dad. I didn't know that. My dad never told me that. But my grandfather on my mom's side told me that one day. So he gave me these nice shotguns and said, just promise, son, you'll never pawn them or sell them. And I used to use them. It was a double barrel and a pump, but nice guns. Those were some of the things that were stolen when I was in New Jersey a few years ago. And I thought I'd never lie to my dad, but I hope he never asks about those guns, because he's a little bit of dementia, my dad. You know, he asked me one day on the phone, and I lied. He said, how are those shotguns, son? I said, I still got them, Dad, and I lied. But when I came back to Texas, my daughter was not living with me anymore. It was pretty bad, and my wife had to kick my daughter out. There's a lot of bad things were going on. But I felt guilty and bad because I was an alcoholic for many years. And I thought some of her problems with drug addiction surely, could have been because of, somewhat of my alcoholism. And I told my wife, I said, no, she can come back. And she was living in a car, I think, on the island. And she's been doing okay, but the thing that upset me today, though, was for a while, my daughter, and I have to talk about this, okay? I wasn't going to, but I think I should. But her and a friend of hers, a girl, they were trying to kind of rent a place, and rent's expensive, and I don't know the girl very well, and she'll probably see this on Facebook, because they're on Facebook. And my daughter asked my wife once, a few months back, do you think my daughter, who was always welcome at the house, and her friend could maybe rent a room or 2 at our house? And my daughter was surprised, because my wife said, I got to ask your dad. And I said, my daughter never has to rent. I said, if she is on her own and it's too expensive, she could always live at the house. And I've always felt those ways. I said, but somebody else, that person would have to pay rent. So I don't know. I don't really think they were able to come up with rent. And I think my daughter did pay some, tried to, and was working and all. But I told my wife one day, I said, it's not, it wasn't going to be long term. And on the video I'm going to post tomorrow, you can hear me say, and I'm going to show you some verses where I say, I'm never going to bring up certain things again. And that'll be explained on the video. And then I thought, but I want to share something without bringing something up that I'm not going to bring up anymore. And I'll try and do it tactfully. I explained to my wife, and I want you to understand some of the things that change in your life. I'm at a public prayer spot. I love this spot, even though somebody's fishing. Some days I used to like to walk. I try to change spots sometimes. And I was under the overpass, the bridge going to Padre Island, which is that way. And I was uncomfortable. Why? Because there's spots where everybody can't see. Spots where everybody can't see. And you might always think, I hope nobody says something. Makes an accusation. So you can't go to spots. You can't, if you're visiting your friends and maybe they have a girlfriend or whatever, or if the friend has to leave, everything is different. And you don't realize that until things happen. So I told my wife, I said, I'm trying to help my daughter. I won't mention her name. And I said, she's always welcome to live at the house with a lot of problems. I said, but I'm very uncomfortable. There's some days where I have to come home and her friend, who's a female, might be there by herself. And I don't want to avoid coming to my house or feeling really worried. Though I don't know the person, and I'm sure the person seemed like a nice person, I told my wife, I said, I want you to understand something. Things are a lot different with me. I talked to her a few times about this, my wife. And today I was at the house. I left. I went to the coffee shop. But sometimes I get back early and I have like a little office room, not the one you mostly see me in, but the little room I showed you the other day. It's also like a little bedroom. Used to be a bedroom that I stayed in. But her friend didn't know I was there. So I wasn't really eavesdropping, but I could hear, because I'm normally gone. And I heard the friend say to my daughter, your dad's been staring at me a lot from the porch. We don't really have a porch. But I thought maybe she's mistaken that I have that prayer spot I show you in the backyard that's like all that granite. And I'm uncomfortable having other people around, but I still pray in that spot in the morning. Sometimes that girl happens to be up, I guess, when I'm out there praying, doing everything. Of course, the girl lied today. I heard my daughter say something like, no, maybe my daughter knows her friend is like that. But I waited a few hours. And then I talked, the girl was there with my daughter, and I said, I heard what you said. I said, that was a lie. And I had told my wife, I said, I don't really know this person. People have backgrounds. And I said, and if people think maybe things happen that it would make it easier for another person to say something later, that's why I'm always uneasy in different ways that I've never had to be uneasy about before. Maybe that person, I know the person lied. I know the person lied. And I won't explain everything, but why, I'm not sure. But I said, today I said, see, that's it. I said I cannot be in a situation where something like that would happen. And I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that. I felt I could do it in that way. I felt I had to share it for my own, protection. So I could say, be careful of people that you don't know. They'd be very hesitant maybe now to say anything else. I think that person watches these. And even why people do things like that, maybe it's not as a severe thing to say as other things. But it made me real uneasy. Because I'm already uneasy. And like I just explained. So I wanted to do this. And I wanted to explain that I wanted my kids, all of them, to know I have 4 daughters, but only one struggles in that way with the problem with drug addiction. And I always said, I had friends that I knew that used to say, I can't wait till the kids are 18 because they have to leave. I had an aunt that said something about her son or daughter, because someone shared it with me. Said they could never come back here to the family home. And I always thought that was strange. I thought, even if your kids are older, I could never see kicking a child out. Saying, there are cases, I'm sure. And sometimes that happens maybe for a while. But just in general, I've never had that view that if one of the, or more of the children are having a difficult time, that they would be homeless. Okay? I've had a lot of friends like that. So, I wanted to do this, so you know, okay? And I didn't want to go back on that little vow I made, and I hope I did it tactfully, where I was not bringing things up to challenge anything. That's what I'm not going to do anymore. But I had to do it in that way so you could see some things today, okay? Some will understand, some won't. But I wanted to do that. God bless everybody.